Assalamu alaikum. My name is Rabia Carvalho. I'm a life coach and Reiki master. And today's video comes in direct response to a question that we received from one of our viewers who private messaged me and said to me, Rabia, my niece is in a very bad marriage. She is being abused. I have gone through abuse myself. I don't want to see what she's going through. Can you help me? What do I do to convince her to leave her abuser? How do I get her to understand that it's better to leave than to stay in that abusive situation? There are financial implications to leaving. There are children involved, young children. What is your advice? So my advice to anyone in that situation who has a loved one who is going through abuse, who has a friend, a business partner, a family member who is going through abuse, what is my advice to you? Firstly is, don't assume that the person really is being abused. Okay, abuse is very specific, although it is very varied, and there are many different kinds of abuse and very many different reasons for abuse. An abuser is somebody who will always try to manipulate, control, or enforce a certain type of behavior or a certain outcome. So they may try to control the relationship, that it moves in a particular direction. They may try to control finances, time, information coming in, try to control the people that the abused person or the victim deals with. I don't want to call them a victim because I believe they do have the power to take control and leave, but it does take planning. So that's my point number two. And that point number two is, once you have determined that yes, this is abuse, maybe then what you want to do is just be a sounding board, be available, allow the person to speak. These people often feel very isolated. Very often abusers isolate their victims so that they cannot speak to anybody. They cannot address the situation. They may not want to speak about it because they feel embarrassed that they're being abused. They feel that in the case of where it's not a man abusing a woman, where it's a woman abusing a man, because this is on the increase, the man may feel that, you know what, I'm supposed to be the man. I'm supposed to wear the pants. How can I be going through abuse? I can't have people knowing that I go through abuse. So there are things that are going to preoccupy the mind of someone who is living in an abusive situation. And the best thing that you can do is be a sounding board for them, listen to them. And number three, find resources for them. If they're needing to find a job, help them in that way. Help them to get to somebody who will assist them to put together a good CV, particularly if they haven't worked for many years. So help them to put together a CV, help them to identify growing opportunities financially, help them to identify a home that they could live in, help them to identify perhaps a place of safety if they are being physically abused. There are many places of safety that social workers and psychologists have access to. So you will want to introduce her when she is ready, or him, as the case may be, to somebody who will assist them in giving them hope for the way forward, financially, emotionally, mentally, and actually meeting the physical needs. Because Maslow's hierarchy of needs is they're not going to leave if they don't have a roof over their heads and some form of income. So help them to identify options for themselves. But you don't want to remove the abuser and you become the controller and the manipulator out of caring and loving this person, caring for and loving this person. So my advice then would be, one, go ahead and identify, is this really abuse? If they need help and it's abuse and you need to call the cops, for example, absolutely, that is your duty to do so. If you're finding that there are individuals that are being physically battered and there are children who are being physically battered, you do have a responsibility to step in. Otherwise, step one is observe and understand, is this really abuse? Observe, don't get involved. Number two, be a sounding board, be someone they can speak to. Number three, be someone who puts them in touch with the necessary resources. And then, of course, leave the decision up to them and understand that it may take time. It may take time for them to realize that actually I don't want to continue living like this. I don't deserve to be continuing living like this. And I am making a choice that this is not what I want. But the very, very last thing I can say is, please keep it confidential. Keep it to yourself. Okay, they have enough to deal with without you now going out there and saying, oh, this is happening to her, this is what's going on, do you know how bad this person is, and so forth. Because then you're not really trying to assist, you're just trying to gossip. And we don't like gossips because gossips create drama. And drama, this person already has enough drama in their life. Okay, so I'm Rabia Carvalho. If you like this video, please hit like, please feel free to share it, and do subscribe so that you can be aware of videos as and when they come up. And we hope that this has been helpful to you. Remember, do not be silent in the case of physical abuse, particularly when it comes to children and domestic violence. Okay, thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you at our next video. Assalamu alaikum.